Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Error Code Show, coming from our strange home studios scattered throughout the Pacific Northwest. I am once again joined this week by my normal co-host, Jay. Jay, how are you?
Good. How are you? I haven't seen you since last year.
Yeah, I know it's been so long, so long. Yes, we got the dad jokes tonight. We're coming in with them hot. Um, it's the Error Code Show for January 1st, 2025. It's our first stream of the year. Obviously, we started this toward the tail end of last year, kind of test some stuff out. We're going to continue refining the format and try and make this the best show we can make it over the course of 2025. Obviously, we're going to talk about news, pop culture, politics, gaming, whatever the hell else we want, or even you want. So, if you have any questions for the chat, go ahead and throw those in there in the chat window, and we will try and get to those at the end of the show. If you are watching us on Twitch, you get a free Prime sub if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber. So you can give us Amazon's money. So go ahead and use your Prime subs there. We're trying to march toward monetization on YouTube, which is a deeper run. And we're on the way to 500 subs there. If you can't catch this portion of the show or you want to watch it, check it out on the YouTube channel. And also look at our audio podcast, which, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. Where are we available on audio?
Oh, we're like everywhere. We have Spotify, we have Amazon Music, we have Apple Podcasts, we have like a bunch of platforms I've never even heard of.
There you go.
Um, yeah, I mean, anywhere that you typically listen to podcasts, I think we're there.
All your favorite podcatchers. Go ahead and catch us. We are there, I promise. And greetings to our international people who are listening to us from overseas. Apparently, we have some listeners from around the world. So, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming. We hope you stick with us. All right. With that out of the way, Jay, how was your holidays? You had a more interesting holiday than I did. You left the country again.
Yeah, this I swear this doesn't happen all the time. Just caught me in a very weird time, but yeah, my family and I we went to Cancun. There was 18 of us. Um so yeah, stayed at an all-inclusive resort, which those of you that don't know, that means like all your drinks and food completely free. So you literally just walk around. You have multiple restaurants, multiple little bars and grills. If you want a fish taco, you just walk up, say, "Hey, I want a fish taco." If you want a burger, you just walk up, get a burger. Whatever you want, Italian food, Mexican food, whatever. And then typically they have people walking around just constantly giving you alcohol. So yeah, it was great. We did go to Tulum. We did the Tulum ruins. We swam with like the sea turtles. And we did visit like a little Mayan village. They kind of blessed some items. Their shaman blessed some items for me to take back to Washington so that I have a great year, 2025 year. So we'll see if that works. But yeah, and for me, I spent 32 years of my life in Florida on the Gulf Coast. So Cancun is also on the Gulf Coast. So it was very much kind of reminds me of home, same kind of climate, same kind of, I don't know, decor, right? It had the same feeling as home, but without the crazy Floridan politics, if that makes sense.
Oh boy, Florida politics. But you
Yeah.
never know. I mean, Mexico may be involved in our politics sooner than we think. Some
Yeah.
things happened over the break. We're not going to get into a lot of those because they've already the news cycle is moving so fast that we can't keep up with it, right? Um, and that's where we're going to get into our first segment tonight. Well, actually, before we get into that, you had a couple other things. You got Disney Plus again.
Yeah. We talked about Disney Plus. We talked about the new Star Wars show, Skeleton Crew. I like literally, I think Skeleton Crew came out like the day I canceled Disney Plus. Womp womp womp. So got Disney Plus. We're gonna get into Skeleton Crew a little bit later in the show, I believe. But yeah, I'm back into the Disney pocket, if you will.
We're all in the Disney pocket.
I mean,
We,
that's true. They own everything.
I
So
went to Disneyland today this year. I give them my Disney Plus money. My kid's a giant Disney nut, and so obviously Disney gets a substantial portion of the money that me and my wife bring home. So, congratulations, Bob. We love you, Bob Iger. I don't know how you're going to replace yourself again. You know, good luck with that. Anyway, yeah. So first segment of the night, like we said, the news cycle can't do that, and Jay got shamans to bless him. Apparently, he needed it more than just him because we were mere hours into 2025. And two major things happened. One was there was an apparent terrorist attack in New Orleans, where a individual managed to make it onto Bourbon Street during the New Year's Eve celebrations and basically plowed through a whole bunch of people at a very high rate of speed. When he came to a stop, he had a firearm and was engaged by police who killed him in the process of some sort of firefight. There was also explosives in the back of his truck. They found other explosives around the city. And then this morning, what initially had looked kind of like an accident, they're saying is now not. A Cybertruck exploded at Trump Tower, Vegas, which is now being investigated as a targeted attack. The driver did perish when they blew up what looks like it was a homemade IED out of like large-scale fireworks and other stuff. The driver and a bunch of other people was killed, and a bunch of other people were injured. Yeah. We're off to a banner year, folks.
It's going to get better. Okay, look, our president's going to come in. Everything's going to be restored. Yeah.
In case you couldn't tell, that was sarcasm. For those listening on the audio. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't know what to say. Obviously, both of these events are tragedies. The one in New Orleans, great, much worse. Vegas, thankfully, nobody but the driver of the Cybertruck was killed. And only a few people were injured. Yeah, and they're investigating a possible connection because both vehicles were rented using the same online app. That's been confirmed. The one thing I do want to talk about in relation to these topics is misinformation. And one of the comments I made on Twitter today was, I am so thankful that social media wasn't really around when 9/11 happened. Because, oh my God, the amount of crazy shit that would have gone flying around while 9/11 was going on would have made that day, I am sure, so much worse than it already was. 8 billion amateur detectives had solved the case before the FBI said a word. You know, first it was an illegal migrant. Oh, nope, never mind, he's not. But we have to get the narrative out there. I urge our viewers, anyone, to be smart consumers of media. Realize that social media is not real life. And before you go around reposting or worrying that something's going on, triple check them sources, man. Like, we talk about this in relation to entertainment news all the time because there's leaks, right? Superman test screening has been horrible, right? This leak, that leak, and they're annoying when it's our favorite entertainment properties. This is when it's regarding a what is an apparent terrorist attack. It's so much fucking worse when people just start making shit up.
Yeah.
Jay, you have anything to add there?
Yeah. Have you ever been to Bourbon Street?
I have not. I've never been to New Orleans. It's one of the few cities I have not, major cities I haven't visited.
Wow. So yeah, it was like a 5-minute drive, I believe, from where I lived. So I've been to Bourbon Street a couple of times. Bourbon Street. So you have Bourbon Street. Bourbon Street is like your main street that the majority of all the bars are at. It's typically always packed. It's a very chaotic place.
Very touristy.
Very touristy. So it's always, every time that I've gone, it's always packed. You have a lot of drunk people. there's a lot of chaos going on Bourbon Street already.
Mm-hmm.
So then you add the New Year's celebration into the mix, and I've never been there for New Year's, but I can only imagine the
I gotta
sheer
imagine it's comparable to Mardi Gras.
yeah. I mean, it has to be. Um, so yeah, it's uh it's really sad because obviously if you go to Bourbon Street, you're there to have a good time, you're
Mm-hmm.
there to have fun. Um, and now, I just kind of worry like a lot of people are going to kind of fall into this kind of fear of like, oh, like we shouldn't go and do things, like we shouldn't go to Bourbon Street because like these little kind of attacks really can happen out of nowhere. And I mean I think that's like kind of the goal of terrorist attacks, right? Like to kind of have, make people afraid on one hand, but I don't know. It's really kind of sad because I've been to Bourbon Street a few times. I can see where something like this could happen, and kind of the chaos and just mass confusion and people just not knowing what's going on. Um, yeah, I guess that's all that I have.
Again, folks, like, please don't don't spread more bad information. Okay, get it from official sources. Get it from the FBI and from local law enforcement. They're gonna tell you what's going on, and they're gonna release information. And I know that sometimes sucks, and we feel like they're holding shit back. And there's reasons to be suspicious, but again, random people on Twitter is always dangerous to deal with when these things are happening. Um, and obviously our hearts and thoughts go out to those who lost loved ones there on Bourbon Street last night. That's a shitty way to start the year. Um, Hopefully 2025 only goes up from here, but sadly I don't have a lot of hope right now. um, so we'll see. We'll see what the investigations bring out in the next few days. Um, yeah. Let us know what you think down in the comments below about all of that. But let's move on to happier topics now. Right?
Happy.
Okay. So obviously we mentioned Jay jumped back on the Disney Plus train, and they have a great show coming or out.
Yeah.
Releasing regularly. Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Neither Jay or I are completely caught up, but we have had some requests for this in the last few days. We've watched the first few episodes. Jay, what are your first thoughts on Skeleton Crew?
Yeah. So I think it was a couple episodes back. You mentioned it was kind of like a oh my gosh, I'm blanking. A Stranger Things, but in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
And I think that's a like 100% accurate way to describe the show. It is very Stranger Things feeling, but just set in the Star Wars universe. I was actually shocked for the first 3 or so minutes, like the opening. The opening went pretty hard. I was like, oh my gosh, like okay, like I was not expecting this. But it's a great show. I love it. It has nothing to do so far, nothing to do with like Luke Skywalker or the Death Star or anything like that.
Nope.
You're just following like a group of 4 kids going across the galaxy on their little adventure. So it's good.
Yes. Yeah, I think that getting away from that core Skywalker-esque world, I think is a smart move on the part of Lucasfilm. I think structuring it in the way they're structuring it, and the reason again I get that kind of strange, like we get, and not in the first episode really, but more toward the second episode, we get that the central mystery gets framed out, right? Is that these kids are all from this planet, and then when they accidentally leave, everybody's like, "What are you talking about? What planet are you? That planet's not real. It's a myth." Right? And they're like, we're from there. It's not. We promise. No major spoilers in that. That's the kind of the central framing of the show. It's, and I think it's a good frame for the show. is it's both a homecoming adventure, but also the center of their home is the mystery of what is AT-AT really, right? I like that we got suburbs. I was glad I wanted Star Wars suburbs. You know, we get all these like exotic locales in Star Wars, but you've never seen suburbs. But in that first episode, you're like, this is some straight up 80s style.
Yeah.
Like ride your bike down the road. Do, do,
Yeah.
do, do, do. Um, Everybody's falling in love with Neil,
Hmm.
which is the little not Ortolan but elephant dude.
Yeah. Okay.
He's so like well-meaning. Like you want to root for Neil.
Yeah. He's definitely very cute. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, he's kind of like a little like I don't God, I'm just gonna get canceled today. He's kind of like a little like Dumbo character, you know. He has like the elephant face, and he's like kind of cute and adorable, and he's a kid. Like he's again like Stranger Things, like he's battling with like trying to like be courageous, trying to be a good friend, but also not die.
He's the super nerdy one too, because he's like,
Yeah.
let's do the test. We got to do good on the test so we can get a good job, and we're gonna do great. You know, and his best friend Wim is the like, I dream of adventure and the Jedi kind of kid, right?
I'm gonna miss the test and everything.
Yeah, screw the test. I want to go find this Jedi temple, and
Oh God.
you
Yeah.
know, I like that the droid is named Smee. It's SM-33, and I was like, he's Smee. We're straight up. We're Disneying this up. Good job, Disney. And he's got a peg leg.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Jude Law?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, obviously I knew that he was in it. And then they kind of mislead you a little bit. I don't want to give anything away, but yeah, I think it's a great fantastic character. There's definitely a lot going on there. He's kind of the character of like, can we trust him? Should we trust him? No, you can't trust him. Yes, you can trust him, like kind of back and forth. Um so I don't know. I definitely liked him, or I like him so far, I guess I should say, because I think he adds that like extra kind of dynamic to the group.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and I think you are like a huge Jude Law fan, right?
I am a big fan of Jude Law. He's been in a bunch of the stuff that I consider some of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't watched it, one of the greatest sci-fi movies of all time is a movie called Gattaca. Right? It was this very indie, like nobody saw it sci-fi movie from the 90s. It's him, Ethan Hawke, and Uma Thurman are all in it, right? And it is one of the like most slow burn, tense sci-fi movies. And again, one of the best sci-fi movies I think has probably ever been made. It's in my top 10 for sure. And he's great in that. I can't think of many things I've seen with Jude Law that I don't think he did well in. Even those really bad Harry Potter like spin-off movies, right? Which went completely off the fucking rails, right? But he was good as Dumbledore,
Yeah.
right? Like he was a solid Dumbledore, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's the only actor to be involved in Marvel, Star Wars, and Harry Potter. Star Wars and Harry Potter. I'm trying to think of what he was in Marvel.
He was in Miss Marvel. He was the
Did I miss
can't
that?
green guy. I can't
Oh,
think
he
of
was in Captain Marvel. You're right.
Yeah.
Jesus, how did I forget about that?
what are they called? The
Dude, Disney's been paying him for a while.
Kree?
Yeah, he's a Kree. He's the one that
Kree.
like is working with um um yeah, dude. Somebody's saying Jude Law on Closer. Yeah, look, I said, I mean, I am a big fan of Jude Law's. Again, I haven't seen him. He was really good in Captain Marvel. Yeah, he was Marvel. Thank you, chat. I appreciate that. I don't know why I forgot about that movie. Like it's an amazing, it's a good movie. Yeah, get paid, Jude. You know. But yeah, overall, I said I haven't watched this week's episode of Skeleton Crew because it came out literally last night. And my wife and I are still catching up. Well, we're going to stay on Skeleton Crew. Again, where Star Wars has been very hit and miss on Disney Plus, right? Very hit and miss.
Everything Star Wars is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love watching a TV show about the worst Jedi to ever live. That's a great TV show.
Oh, dang. Yeah. I think Skeleton Crew's kind of knocking it out of the park. I really hope. Here's my fear. Still, can they stick the landing?
I don't know. It's going good now. Who's directing this one?
John Watts. And so that's the other thing. So John Watts, who did all of the Spider-Man home movies, right, for Disney,
Yeah.
right, for Marvel and Sony. So he did Spider-Man Homecoming, Far From Home, and No Way Home. He did all three of those films. He was the director. And he has done a pretty good job with this. I think Disney decided to go showrunners has been good. I think this is probably a step in the right direction. And again, I like what you brought up right at the beginning for those that came in late, which is there's no Skywalkers, there's no Solos. We're not seeing, it's not the Empire versus the Republic. You see two X-Wings for like 15 seconds. Like, that's the extent of it. You know what I mean?
And the thing, I don't know. The thing that I loved about that is that the kids, they're like, I don't know, middle school kids, open fire on the X-Wing.
Pew, 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 pew.
Oh, God.
Yeah. At some point we may have to do like a theory crafting before the end of the series to see if we figure out how this is, going to go out. Again, I don't want to give away spoilers for those that haven't watched it yet. There's a couple so there's the primary mystery, which I will give away, which is the kids come from this world called At-Aten. And once they get out of this barrier, they get to the thing and they find out that nobody else thinks that At-Aten is real. Right?
It's like a myth.
It's like a myth, like El Dorado.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're like, what are you talking about? And they get captured. They run into Jude Law, and he rescues them out of the prison. The secondary mystery is kind of who is Jude Law.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
He apparently has Force abilities, but he doesn't do much with them yet. Right?
And I guess, like, I will say, the kids are like, oh, you're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. You're a Jedi. And Jude Law goes with it. And then a little bit later, they're like, we thought you said you were a Jedi. And he was like, I never said that. And you're kind of like, oh, God, like.
Yeah, something's sketchy. Chat's like, sketchy Force user and a bunch of kids. What could go wrong? You're not wrong. Like, that's kind of what makes it good, Yeah. There's a point in, I think, episode 4, right? One of my favorite lines from him is him and Smear are about to get captured, right? And he just goes down. He's just like, "Fuck it, just shoot me."
Yeah,
he's like, "Just shoot me. I don't care." But then he does come through. Like he's like, "Hey, I fixed it. Like you kids ran off, and then I got capped, but I fixed it, right?"
Yep.
And then Neil kind of gets a shining moment there, and then so does he. Like, there's some good interplay here.
Yeah.
All he does is future. Yeah, and again, I'm really I think there's a mystery about him. I think he does have Force abilities, and age-wise, if you make the character the same age Jude Law is in real life, and this show takes place in roughly the same time frame as The Mandalorian, so about 5 years after Return of the Jedi, right? Which means he would have been a young adult during Order 66. Okay. So
he could have been.
Like a
He could have
trainee,
been
like a Padawan.
Padawan. He could have been a youngling, still like at the Jedi Temple, waiting for like a master to come get him
Yeah.
for training. And I mean, like it kind of so that's like the really interesting mystery here because they 100% could do that. They could be like, yes, like he started his training, Order 66 broke out, he like ran off, right? Obviously, that makes sense. He never finished his training because in the series, you kind of see him kind of, it does appear like he does have force abilities, but he's not like a master. Like he
No.
stumbles. So it's like, okay, maybe he never finished his training, but then also like and I will say he's also very knowledgeable of the Force. Like he definitely like tells the kids like, "Oh, a Jedi wouldn't say that." Blah blah blah. Um, but then he could also be a bad guy. That's kind of just along for the ride to see if El Dorado, if you will, is true. So, oh, I don't know.
Some of the chat's asking if Force users age slower than usual. So there's like two answers to that question. There's the old EU answer, which is yes, but, and then there's the current, there's the George Lucas answer, which is the Force does what we need it to do. That's literally like the answer. There isn't like a really good, like, if you haven't watched the Freddie Prinze Jr. rant about Star Wars, you should watch that. He actually breaks it down really well, right? And it was an interview he did after he did Star Wars Rebels, right? So in case you guys didn't know, Freddie Prinze Jr. is involved in the Star Wars universe, right? And he breaks it down really well on how Dave Filoni, who's basically George's apprentice, and obviously Dave Filoni with Jon Favreau runs a lot of this now, and Dave Filoni is the chief creative officer at Lucasfilm. He explains really well how Dave explained it to him, right? And the thing that they're clear about it is that the Force is not like video games. It's not like you level up in the Force, right? It's much more amorphous than that. So again, it's difficult to say, if that makes sense, right?
I think my favorite George Lucas quote of all time about Star Wars is that there's no bras in outer space.
Yeah, he did say that. He told that to Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. Oh god.
And then George invented midichlorians. So, and there's midichlorian counts. And so maybe Jude Law just has a low midichlorian count. Again, I don't know. And again, they haven't been super clear about that. And again, I think that's by design. I think as the show goes on, they're going to kind of break that out more. I think by the end of this, I don't know if this is going to get a season 2. I don't know if they intended to have a season 2. I have no idea. Disney tends to make these decisions kind of on the fly these days. So I imagine by the end of the season, which I think we got, 3 more episodes left? Let's take a look. How many more episodes? No, I don't care about Yellowstone. Stop guessing. 2 more. 2 more after this.
Ooh, guess what?
We'll know in a couple of weeks.
There was a lot of discussion today. There's a lot of articles out that got posted today. It says the show's creators say that they have plans for a second season and have plans to kind of follow the kids as they grow up, very much like Stranger Things.
Yep, they had plans for Acolyte season 2. They do this. They literally just did this with Agatha, right? So if you guys didn't know, when they did the Agatha show, originally they marketed it as a limited series. This is a 1 season and done. Well, what they found with Agatha is the viewership kept going up and up and up and up and up as they went, right? Agatha was a success as far as Disney Plus streaming shows. So they just submitted it for consideration to the Emmys. So for those that don't know, each of the studios, when they want Emmy nominations or Oscar nominations, they submit packages to each of the award bodies and say, this is how we want you to review this. They submitted it not as a limited series, right, which is one category for the Emmys, but as a continuous series. So it's looking like, while they haven't announced it, they're going to do a season 2, even though they weren't going to originally. So if Skeleton Crew's numbers do well, they might come back and do a season 2. And I think it's a good idea. If you've got something good, stick with it. But Disney, can you do me a favor? Can we not wait 3 years between seasons? And actually, sorry, this goes out to all the streamers. Of all the things I miss about network television, right? Y'all would roll a 22 episode season over the course of the fall, winter, and spring, cut for summer, and in the fall, 3 months later, I would get another season. 3 months. 3 months. I'm tired of waiting 2 years between seasons of television. Right? Aren't you?
Yeah, I am, but I'm kind of wondering if like all the writer strikes like kind of have something to do with that.
They did, but I think we're past it now.
Okay.
We should be past
For
it now.
now.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later in the show, because we're going to talk about, stuff that's coming in 2025, and a lot of what's coming in 2025 was stuff that was supposed to come out in 2024 but didn't because of the writers and actors strikes. So, anyway, if you watch this later, have you watched Skeleton Crew? Do you like it? Are you enjoying it? Leave us a comment down in the thing below and tell us what you think. Okay, what are we doing? All right. Now, obviously, some of y'all have popped in, so I will once again give my spiel. If you have any questions you want us to talk about toward the end of the show, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I'll try and get them into the rundown. We'll try and hit them at the end of the show. I got a couple silly season topics for the end of the show already. So again, if there's something you want to talk about, something you saw in the news, let us know what you would like to talk about. All right, moving on to our next topic. Again, it's 2025, so now we have to have fresh rumors that Valve might learn to count to 3. That's right, a new rumor that Half-Life 3 might be imminent. Now, before the last couple of Half-Life releases, the voice actor who plays G-Man, who's a major character in the Half-Life series, dropped a cryptic post on Twitter on New Year's Eve, leading to fresh speculation that Half-Life 3 might be coming only 21 years after Half-Life 2. Okay, all hail Lord Gaben. So the two questions we're going to answer is, do we think it's actually coming, or is this another set of silly things to get gamers' hopes up? And if so, what does this mean for launches in 2025? I want to believe. I do.
I just love how you're like, I'm tired of waiting 3 years in between seasons, and then you're like, it's been 21 years since Half-Life 2.
Oh, somebody in the chat's like, nope, not a chance. So the reason this sparked a bunch of stuff over at Windows Central is the guy who plays G-Man. He's done this before, right? He uses his G-Man voice. He uses the voice of Barney Calhoun. He has not posted anything on Twitter since the release window of Half-Life Alyx, which was the last kind of follow-up they did. He only ever posts about Half-Life. That's it. This is not like something an account he uses all the time, right? So, I want to believe. I really do. I really, really do. This is obviously Half-Life 2 and Half-Life and Valve not counting to 3 has been a meme for a long time. People have been waiting for Half-Life 3 for literally 2 decades. 2 decades. Yeah. What do you think, Jay? What's the likelihood that Valve actually releases a video game this year?
I mean, from what I know, I would not put money on it. If I was a gambling man, I would put my money on black rather than put money on the fact that Valve's going to come out with a game this year. I don't know. That's me. Um, 21 years is a long time, but I mean, we are seeing a lot of, and also in the movie, right? In like the movie world, we're seeing a lot of movies come back. I mean, how long was it between Super Troopers and Super Troopers 2?
Oh God.
How long was Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice 2?
Yep.
So I mean, like, it's possible, yeah. It's not a zero chance. It's a near zero chance, but I don't know. I wouldn't put money on it.
Somebody in the chat say Gabe on the phone with him. Hey, want to screw with the fans? I'll cut you a check if you post this. And again, Lord knows Valve has the money. You know, they're the largest online distributor of video games on the planet. This is what they do. These guys print cash. I want to believe, and I love the Half-Life games. Okay, in my opinion, they are some of the best first-person shooters that have ever been released in the history of video games. They gave birth to Team Fortress, which obviously is one of the longest-running online shooter games that's ever existed. It gave birth to Counter-Strike. It gave birth to all of this. Came from the Half-Life 2 engine, or the Half-Life engine. You know, the memes around Half-Life have been around forever. This is early internet shit because it's Half-Life. Again, I want to believe, but again, it's been 20 years and Valve does things at the speed of whenever the hell we feel like it. You know, yes, to the chat, Valve does own Steam. And they're right here in the good old Pacific Northwest. This is where they are based. They're less than 20 miles from where I'm sitting right now. Again, I would love to see it. I don't know if we're going to see it. But this is... the fact that this level of a Twitter post from one of the voice actors involved gets everybody... Like, there's multiple news articles out there right now. Like, is it finally coming? Right? Like, it's insane. Series is dead. I don't know. PC Games has the thing. The Gamer has the thing. I don't know. We've exceeded the Half-Life on the series. Again, I don't know. I think, so this is the thing. The biggest launch this year is supposed to be GTA 6, right? And it's actually, there's been some articles about this. There's a bunch of video game companies that are pissed right now at Rockstar because Rockstar refuses to say when they're dropping it. And nobody in the video game industry wants to be within 6 weeks of GTA 6. They just don't, right? Don't release just blah. And they're like, and there's been talk behind the scenes that a bunch of the studios have reached out to Rockstar and said, can you please, we know it's coming in 2025. We know, okay? You've made that clear. When? Because if it's September, we'll leave you alone. We will literally, like, we'll move. We just, but tell us something. Give us anything on when GTA 6 is going to release because they don't want to release near it. Half-Life 3 is a similar type of project that I think if they announce it, it'll break the internet. I think everybody will lose their crap. Yeah, and somebody in the chat is saying they're agreeing with how Valve does their projects. That if Half-Life 3 does the same thing, then it completely changes the video game release schedule for the entire year, right? This is something that and it's understandable, but it's kind of frustrating because movies don't do things like this. Like, movie release dates are set 2 years out, right? So it gives the studios the opportunity to move around and be like, you know what? We don't think competing with X movie is going to be good for us, so we're going to shift 2 weekends over. We're going to move to this, you know. So Come on, gaming industry. Get smart. Stop fucking with us. Anyway, what do you think? Do you think it's Half-Life year? Are we finally going to get Half-Life 3? If it does it completely fuck Rockstar's release timing for GTA 6?
I don't know. I think they're like two separate like markets,
They're
honestly.
not. GTA
Like,
6,
in
I think,
my
is a
opinion-
much like more mainstream market, but goddamn,
Yeah.
the hardcore gamers are going to lose their crap.
Yeah, hardcore gamers are, but like your I don't know, Gen Zers are just going to care about like GTA 6.
Valid. But do they have
I don't
any
know.
money is the question. Or is it guys like you and me that have all the money to buy things?
That's also true.
You know. Anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. All right. A couple things from the chat. Wait, there's news on Twitter. Yes. We actually talked about that at the beginning of the show. About people, like, please, if you see something on social media, don't repost it unless you know it's from a verified source. Okay. I was saying at the beginning of the show, I'm so glad that there was no social media on 9/11 because we talked about it earlier in the show. We might come back to a little bit of it at the end. All right. Moving along. Jay, you got our next topic. You saw something really interesting over on the Netflix.
Oh God, this is crazy. This is like
I love that you're the one that finds these stories because I don't see any of these. You know, Jay comes in every week with like, let me tell you this obscure ass shit I saw.
yeah, people at work are like every single week you come in and you're like, so I watched a documentary on Netflix, and I'm like, oh God, that's so true. Yeah, so this thing is crazy. This is like Tiger King, maybe even crazier than Tiger King, to be honest. It's called the Kings of Tupelo. I'm gonna try not to like spoil any of this, but I feel like none of this is going to make sense. You have a Elvis impersonator whose brother was also an Elvis impersonator. So then they did what they called a double trouble, because I guess Elvis had a twin that died. It was never born. So then like one of the brothers was like the Elvis twin that was never born. I don't know. This is like Mississippi crazy drama. But anyways, you have this Elvis impersonator who gets wrapped into this conspiracy that hospitals are selling body parts. Hospitals and morgues, I believe, are selling body parts on the black market. And then this guy has a lot of mental health issues. Everyone says he's crazy. And then turns out he's not crazy. And then, so he tries to get legislation pushed to try to prevent selling body parts on the black market. But he does have mental health issues, so he is kind of crazy. I'm sorry. But anyway, so there's that. But then you get caught up into a feud between this Elvis impersonator and this black belt karate instructor who also then tried to become a politician. And then they like have a falling out. One guy tried to steal the other guy's ex-wife. I don't know. Anyways, that leads to a presidential assassination attempt on Barack Obama. It is insane. Like, it's crazy.
And I see here in the notes, this all happened in Mississippi.
Yeah, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah.
First off, that part, like, it's there or Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. And to people from the South, this is why we think you're weird.
We can't count the 3. I can tell you that. No, I'm kidding.
This is why we think the South is weird. Because this
I was
shit
even
don't
watching-
happen in Tacoma.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I was watching this and I was telling my wife, I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, we're never moving to Mississippi. Like, there's never,
Have you
like,
been
we're
there?
never.
Have you been to Mississippi?
Yes, have been a couple of times, just kind of like passing through. I have like a few friends that were from Mississippi. Um, yeah, haven't been. I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of staying around in Mississippi. Have you at all?
I've been down through there more than once, and it is one of the states where I frequently say you should have a fucking passport to come down there. Like it's not and legit, and I'm not the only person who said this. Like all parts of America are like different countries, and that is especially true for places like Mississippi and Alabama, right? Florida's like three countries in and of themselves, just in their state. So let's not even go there. But you
Yeah.
get down into Mississippi and Alabama. And I believe Mississippi was just the state that got robbed by Brett Favre, formerly the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers, stole a bunch of welfare funds to
Oh,
build a
yeah.
volleyball stadium for his daughter's college
Right.
where she was playing volleyball. This is why. This is why we think it's weird down there.
Oh, it's crazy. It like if you want a really good look into the craziness of Mississippi, watch this documentary. You will not be disappointed. I like it's something that like put your phone down and you're just going to be tuned in for the train wreck the entire time. One of my favorite lines. So the Secret Service this has a person in custody and goes, "Did you send ricin to the president of the United States?" And the guy's response was, "What are you talking about? I don't even like rice. I don't even buy rice. I can't even think the last time I like had rice to eat." And I was like, and then like Secret Service literally, because they're interviewing like a FBI guy, and he's like,
And are they talking to the Elvis impersonator guy? This is who they're
yeah.
questioning.
So I will say that they were talking to this. So like the FBI guy like
Yeah.
turned to Secret Service and was like, "I don't think he's smart enough to pull this off." And I was like, "Oh God. Oh God." Like, I don't know. It's you have to check it out. If you liked the Tiger King, even the same director of the Tiger King did the Chimp Crazy, I think is the name of that one about people owning like chimps that end up ripping your face off when they get too big. He did a documentary on that as well. Not the same director did this one, but it's on the same kind of craziness level to me. Kings of Tupelo on Netflix. Check it out.
So yeah, by the way, this is again one of those things that frustrates me about Netflix, right? Is Netflix has so many dark corners with so much interesting content that they never advertise anywhere. They don't advertise it for shit. They're just like, we just put this shit on there. And then you find out about it like 2 years later and you're like, what?
Yeah.
How long has this been here? Right?
Like, I think. Hang on. I think.
Like figure out when this came out. I'm curious, right? Because again, this is right up Netflix's MO. We make all this shit and we tell no one. We tell no one, not even our own viewers, right? It'll pop up on your little recommended page for a day and a half and then it's gone.
Oh. So it came out supposedly in December of 2024.
So
I,
you managed to find it relatively quickly. Congratulations. I guarantee you no one else has. I'd never even heard anything about this until you put it in the rundown today. Good job, Netflix, for having this kind of like wackadoodle goofy content that Jay can bring to the show every week. Jay's like, you see this weird shit. Netflix is the Frank's Red Hot of streaming services. Oh, and then chat's like, then they cancel it because nobody watched it. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Netflix makes a thing, they don't advertise it, nobody watches it, and then they quietly cancel it, and then everyone's like, wait, this is great. And then they're like, oh, okay, too late, because we're Netflix. Oh my God. Good job, Netflix. At least we're all prepared for the next pandemic because we know we'll be able to go back to Netflix and find random shit. So, anyway, have you seen Kings of Tupelo? Are you planning on checking it out? Go ahead and leave us a comment, shoot us a message, jump in the Discord, and let us know. All right. I guess we can actually do more than just movie. Netflix, you're greenlit. Yeah. Netflix just greenlights fucking everything. It may not go anywhere.
Right.
And then
That's
they'll give Zack Snyder like $500 million to make that Rebel Moon, whatever that was.
Yep.
That everybody went, what is this? Which is irritating because I loved like a lot of the people like Charlie Hunnam, Jaimon Hansu. I love those guys. And I can't tell you what Rebel Moon was. It was a thing.
It was a thing.
It was Zack Snyder feeling himself. Seriously. All right. Moving on. Favorite things of 2024. It is 2025. So let's look back at the year that was. We are now halfway through the 2020s. We're halfway through the decade. 2024 was an interesting year for media. And so let's start with movies. You have an interesting, Jay. I'm gonna let you take this one first because mine's more like kind of chalk. My answer. Your favorite movie of 2024 just came out.
Oh.
I've not had a chance to watch it yet. So
No?
go. No,
God.
Christmas with the kids and stuff. Like, yeah, I've not had a chance to watch it.
That's fair. Nosferatu. Oh my God. I loved it. I'm gonna say like probably my favorite, definitely like my favorite, I don't know. It's not really scary, but I guess like scary movie. But also like my favorite movie altogether. Like I loved it. I loved the feel of it. I loved I don't know, the style, the acting, all of it. I just loved all of it. I don't know.
It's Robert Eggers, who's a great director. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, I brought that up for everybody to kind of look at there. It's getting an 86 from the critics and a 75% from the audience, so not too far of a spread. So, I mean, generally, it looks like most people agree with you that it's a pretty good movie. I do like Nicholas Hoult as an actor. And he's going to be our new Lex Luthor, which I'm really looking forward to. Aaron Taylor Johnson is great. Willem Dafoe. What did you think of Lily Rose Depp?
So it was really funny. The whole movie, I'm like, who is she? Like, she looks so. Who is she? You know, and you're like trying to figure out who she is.
Yeah.
You know, and they're showing her like tits on the screen the entire time, and you're like. And then, like, finally, like, after the movie, I'm like, cast, like, who is this? And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. Awesome. So obviously the daughter of Johnny Depp. I thought she did great in the movie. Yeah, I can't think of, like, I'm kind of blanking on other movies that she's been in.
She hasn't done much yet.
Okay.
Chat wants to know, who did Willem Dafoe play?
So William Dafoe played the oh God. Hang on one second. I'm gonna like pull up. But he so he was the kind of the doctor guy who fell into the occult and then lost all of his like credibility and then kind of became the like exorcist kind of figure.
Okay.
So he went like because there's two of them, right? You have like the doctor who's like very accredited, he's very academic, and then when that doctor couldn't couldn't figure out what was wrong with this girl, then reached out to his old like instructor who has lost all of his credibility because he went off, took a hard left turn into the occult, kind of went into crazy talk. Yeah, let me see the actual name. So it's Dr. Whoops, I just clicked on him. Dr. Albin Ebenhart.
Okay.
If you know who that is from like the original, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm guessing Bill Skarsgård, is he our Nosferatu? Is he our vampire?
Yeah.
Okay. So how well does this hew to like typical vampire mythos?
So I liked it because it wasn't really your, I don't know, like it wasn't your typical vampire like, I mean everything beats Twilight, right? Twilight's just garbage. But you have this like vampire like really flexing his abilities like, no, you're going to like go sit by the fire. He snaps his fingers, next thing you know you're by the fire and you're like paralyzed in fear. He's not going to bite you on the neck, I'll tell you that. He's going to bite you in the center of your chest by your boobies for some weird reason, in which my wife in the medical field went into like a whole little, you can't really do that unless your teeth are very long, which
Because the breastbone is right there, and there's
yeah,
ribs.
it's kind of weird because he's not biting your actual like titty. He's biting like in the center of your chest, like right
Like where
here.
the breastbone is. Okay.
Yeah, like I was like, is that pop? Is that po- is that possible? Like, and my wife is like, no. But anyways, um, no, you kind of see like the vampire's power. Like he's not this like he's strong and he can throw you across the room, but he doesn't resort to that. Like he is literally a shadow, like going across the city. He's a shadow in like her room. He's like forcing people to like do stuff for him without actually like touching them. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like really I don't know, it's really kind of refreshing. Um I guess like you kind of see more of like the powers of a vampire like instead of just like I don't know flying around like kind of taking over high school girls, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Um. Okay. So I'm a little more chalk. That's your favorite of 2024.
Yeah.
I'm a little more chalk on mine, and I'll be honest. I think my favorite movie of 2024. So I'm going to say two things. My favorite movie of 2024 is Deadpool and Wolverine, right? It was just so much fun, and we needed fun, and it was everything that we were hoping and expecting it to be, right? It was when from the time they announced that they were doing the film and that Hugh Jackman was coming back as Logan and all of that, and the expectation that we've gotten from Ryan over the years in the Deadpool franchise. Everybody, I think, walked into, and I think that Deadpool and Wolverine risked being the biggest disappointment of the year. I think it had the highest level of risk of that if it didn't hit, people were going to be pissed.
Yeah.
Right? It was the only movie released by Disney Marvel this year, which on Disney's side, they were betting the farm, right? On rehabbing the MCU and getting the MCU back out of its thing with this movie. And if it didn't hit, with how iffy the MCU's been the last couple of years, that might have been a problem for them, right?
Yeah.
So I think it had the highest level of if we screw this up, it's bad. It's bad news bears.
Yeah.
But when you walked out of that movie, it was everything we hoped it was going to be. It was exactly what we needed. We needed the laughter. We needed the gory silliness. Heck, I took my 10-year-old to it. It was Wolverine in the classic red or what, yellow and blue suit with the fucking wings, right? That we'd never seen on screen before. It was everything that we needed out of Deadpool. So it's probably my favorite movie of the year. I still think Dune 2 is the best movie of the year.
Wow. Okay.
As far as full package, cinematography, amazing. The performances were top tier. Right? The story, strong, good dialogue. That those moments in the War Council when Paul first meets the Emperor, and then like the Bene Gesserit's like, you're gonna, and he's like, silence, right? And she's like, "Oh crap." Um, and I'm looking through all the movies that came out this year, and I am struggling to find one that I think was better done than Dune Part 2.
See, that is really interesting to me, and I really want you to go see Nosferatu because that to me is like the same argument I have for Nosferatu, um, which I will say for me, I guess number one, right, is that one. Number two would be Deadpool, 100%. Number three, though, would probably be like Alien Romulus. Romulus, yeah.
Um,
Um,
I liked Alien Romulus, but it was very chalk to me. Like, there was never a point in that movie where I was like, I don't know what's about to happen.
yeah,
Right? And so the only, and again, I enjoyed Alien Romulus, right? But I think it went about 5 minutes too long. I didn't need that last one, right?
yeah.
Where he pops back up for the third time. I'm like, why? I don't care about that weird hybrid thing, right? We're done now,
Yeah.
right? Because at this point, you're not going to kill off the main character. Like I have taken into my heart, you're not killing off the main character. So unless you're going to kill her off, stop with the bringing it back. Like,
Yeah.
you've made your point. So that was my only issue with Alien Romulus. Honestly, I think we got some really good films this year.
Oh, yeah.
Moana 2, I took my daughter, was good. I'm hearing nothing but good things about Wicked. I am not the target audience for that, but it's crushing it, and people who like it, like it. They released another Bad Boys movie. That's my guilty pleasure franchise. For some people, it's Fast and Furious. For some, everybody's got that cheesy franchise that they love, right? Like, I know you've got to have one, Jay. I don't think we've had this conversation. Like, the stupid shit could be Transformers, Fast and the Furious.
It used to be Fast and the Furious, but like that died off so long ago. I
Was
think
that this
I don't know.
year?
I need to think about that. What's like my cheesy thing that I oh god, I really don't want to
Oh,
say it. I don't want to say it. It's kind of I guess
go.
like it might be Star Wars.
So I don't think that's cheesy, because I think that's too big. So again, for me, it's the Bad Boys franchise. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. I love all four of those movies. I think they're ridiculous. They absolutely are shenanigans. I absolutely think that they're ridiculous, but they are my guilty pleasure. Somebody in the chat brought up Axel Foley. I enjoyed that. That was a fun movie. I really love Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He's in so few things. But he also has a very wide range of things that he does. And so seeing him with Eddie Murphy was a lot of fun. I did enjoy the Axel Foley movie. Again, my best one of the year has got to be Dune. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. I mean, there was a lot of good stuff this year. There really was.
I read a financial report of talking about the box
It was
office.
a good year.
And it was also talking about AMC and like why like AMC stock right now is like really undervalued. Like it's definitely a buy, and how 2024 was the year of the box office, and AMC made a lot of really good financial moves that should bring up the stock prices within like 2025. But anyways, now trying to sell, you know, AMC stock to anyone. But yeah, in that article it talked about just 2024 was really the comeback of the box office.
Well, and this is again where I'm going to give Disney credit. Okay? And when corporations screw up, you guys have been watching me for a long time. I'll bash their heads in, right? Verbally, metaphorically speaking, NSA, metaphorically speaking, I'm not Luigi. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Calm down. Now, what I'm saying is what Disney did this year is they did full theatrical runs, right? A couple of the other studios would be like, it's in 3 weeks, it's out, it's on streaming, which is a bad idea. Disney would go, nope, Deadpool and Wolverine's going to be there for 3 months. Inside Out 2, which, by the way, they made $1.7 billion. Why? Because they left it in theaters for 4 months. So that if you didn't get there the first 3 weekends, you still had time. And you also had time for, Mommy, I like that Inside Out. Let's go again.
Yeah.
Or guys like me with Deadpool. Oh, man, that was funny. Let's take other people that haven't seen it yet because it was funny. Moana, same thing. Moana's still in theaters. No word on its streaming date. And they've made $900 million. Right? Which is thing. Other honorable mentions this year, the Superman documentary, the Christopher Reeve story, Godzilla -1. Huge one for this year. Most disappointing movie. What's your worst one? What's the one that you were like, oh God?
Let me go through my list. As I look. Let's see here.
I'm double checking the list of what came out.
I don't think I saw. There was like one screen unseen that I saw, but I'm not gonna say that counts. Where I was like, oh God, I hate this movie.
What was it?
The makeup movie.
Okay.
No, Skincare. The movie's called Skincare. Did not like it at all. But I'm not gonna say that counts because I didn't know what movie I was seeing until I went to see it. Oh my God, like I'm going through the movies I actually saw, and it was
good year.
It's a great year. There was, I don't know.
I'll say my biggest disappointment this year. Disappointment. Not the worst movie I saw, but my biggest disappointment was Gladiator 2. Because I really liked the original Gladiator. I was really hoping that Ridley Scott was going to get back to it. I like Denzel. I like the cast. I like Pedro, right? Okay. I really wanted Gladiator 2 to be the same as Gladiator 1, like that level of movie. I went with a friend of mine, and literally we both said the same thing. We walked out of the movie, which was, well, that was a movie.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't bad, but it just like, that was a movie. I saw it. Like, I forgot about it 10 seconds later.
That's true.
Which sucks.
I think for me, there is a movie called City of Dreams that I saw. Overall, it's an okay movie. And a little backstory here. My brother came into town and was like, hey, I have to see a movie. My brother's a huge movie nerd. Should I say this? Oh God. He kind of became a little famous, I guess. I think the CEO of AMC actually tweeted him because he is the guy that has over 1 million AMC points.
Wow.
Yeah, he is a movie fanatic. He goes his local movie theater, they all know him. They give him tours of behind the scenes, tells him like what's coming out, like upgrades that they're doing. I don't know. It's a whole different level. I told him he needs to create a movie podcast because he literally sees every movie as it comes out. So my brother comes in town. He's like, we have to see this movie, City of Dreams. It wasn't terrible, but it was graphic and gory.
Like
And
more than was necessary for the story.
It was trying to drive home a point of child labor in both the U.S. and like Mexico. I think mainly in the U.S. though. So they took this Mexican child across the border into the U.S., promising him a better life. I think, yeah. And then, anyways, and it's the whole story, and it's kind of based on very similar stories that happens in real life. So it's all like, this really happens. This is happening today, which for movies like Saw and stuff, like I can convince myself this is all fake. But then when
Mm-hmm.
you hit me with headlines, like, yeah, here's all the headlines recently of people, companies doing this. And then there was just a really bad scene where they're beating this child, this like 8-year-old child, and it's very bloody. And I like literally like I wanted to leave that movie theater so bad. And I like literally just like turned and just stared at like the side of the theater wall until it was over and was like, okay. You did not like, I don't think there's a single person that left that movie theater like, yay, I love life. Like, so I don't know. That would have to be like a probably my worst movie of 2024 just because it was like, oh my gosh, like I did not want to go see this movie.
All right, let's move on to TV real quick.
TV.
Again, I'm gonna go pretty chalk on this one. It's Shogun.
Ooh.
Everybody, again, this has been a long year. It's been a long 2024. There's just nothing better was released this year. It was good. It was so good. It was ridiculously good. And in a year with a lot of really good television, like, thank God the Emmy shit runs on the off cycle that it does, and Shogun already won all its awards, or a lot of these other shows would be screwed right now for the next Emmys. And a lot of shows last year got screwed because of Shogun. Honorable mentions, Penguin. Thought Penguin was good. Fallout. And X-Men 97.
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple on that I've seen on a lot of the lists that I just haven't had a chance to watch. Like Shrinking. Shrinking's on my list of shit to watch. It's been recommended to me so many times.
I literally just watched the first episode before jumping on the podcast.
Yeah, somebody has recommended that show to me. A bunch of people have recommended it to me. I plan on watching it. What do you got?
Oh, this is hard. Oh my god.
House of the Dragon 2 season 2 came out this year. It's been a good year for television.
I loved Shogun. And I also just started watching from 2024. Oh my god, what is the name of that show? It's a Godzilla show on Apple TV.
Oh, Monarch.
Monarch, and the girl from Shogun is in
Monarch, yep.
that. Which I think is good. Loved Monarch. I loved the Penguin. God. This is hard. I might have to say like number 1 Penguin, number 2 Shogun.
That's fair.
But I mean they're close. Like I really liked Shogun. I always love kind of like Japanese traditional like their whole culture and history I really like. So I don't know.
Chat's mentioning the Jackal and the Lioness. I've heard great things about both of them. My wife has been watching the Lioness, and she loves it. Absolutely loves it. I haven't picked it up yet.
The Jackal's amazing. I loved it. Also up there in like my top 32. No, I'm kidding. I guess maybe my top 4 probably is the Jackal. That was another great one.
I'm a little behind on my video game stuff, so I don't. God, what are the? So my backlog is really bad, so I'm probably not going to be much help here. Yeah. I'm still in 2023. So I'll get back to you about 2024 when we get to 2026, as I clear my backlog. Okay. So somebody in the chat's mentioning a lot of shows that could have had potential but just flopped. I'd be curious to hear what those were, chat. So if you want to throw those in while we're looking some stuff up. Yeah, I'm too far behind on video games to do it. Chaos is one of the ones I heard that a lot. That's the one with Jeff Goldblum where they were all gods.
That's another great one.
Agatha was this year. Agatha was good. I enjoyed Agatha all along. Again, not near my top, but it's, again, I think it was a pretty good year for television. It was a good year for movies, good year for the box office. Again, I hope that the other studios going into next year go, hey, look, Disney made a shit ton of money. We need to start doing full theatrical runs. Like, we've got to stop this 3-4 weeks and straight to streaming, especially with word of mouth. Like, word of mouth is big for movie theaters, right? Like, if somebody comes up to you and is like, hey, I saw this opening weekend, it's really great, and it's already gone by the time you can get there in week 3.
Yeah.
Like, great. Crap. Well, screw it. So I hope we get that going forward. Let us know down in the comments below, what was your favorite stuff in 2024? I would love to hear what you guys loved and maybe thought was even a little disappointed. So let us know down in the comments below. Looking into 2025. Dude, it's going to be a good year for movies. I'm so glad that I have A-List. So glad I have A-List. Captain America Brave New World, that comes out in February. God, there's a bunch of stuff coming this year. The Electric State, that's Netflix. Mickey 17, I don't know if you guys have seen the trailers for that, but that looks really good. Thunderbolts looks really good.
Love Hurts comes out February 7th.
There you go. How to Train Your Dragon live action. I'm looking forward to that. I don't give a crap what anybody says. I love that franchise. Superman. I loved the trailer.
Oh, the trailer was good. I liked it.
Somebody in the chat's asking if AMC's paying me yet. No. But if they want to sponsor the show, I'd let them sponsor the show. I'd take AMC's money. Look, I have A-List, and maybe not as much as Jay's brother, but I hate to say it. Dune 3 does not come out in 2025. Fantastic Four comes out Freakier Friday, which I'm actually weirdly looking forward to.
I'm a little worried about Fantastic Four. I know Robert Downey Jr. is in it. I'm worried about it because that franchise is cursed. Swear to God, that franchise is cursed. I'm worried about that.
I'm gonna hold out hope. Here's the one I'm worried about. The one that I think is going to be my biggest disappointment is Tron Ares.
Ooh, yeah.
I am a Tron Legacy defender. I love Tron Legacy, right? I love Tron. Oh, I don't know if I want Jared Leto fucking with my Tron. Who's in Freakier Friday? Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. It's legit like a straight up sequel to the original. Like, they are doing it. Predator Badlands comes out this year. Another Wicked. Zootopia 2. Avatar comes out this year. I mean, this is going to be a big year for movies. Somebody in the chat said they're holding out for the Warhammer 40K show. It's not going to come out this year. I would guess, based on when Henry's filming things, you're probably looking at 2027 at the earliest. That would be best case scenarios when the Warhammer 40K show is going to come out, is 2027. Best case. Probably 2028. It's 2025. He's filming Highlander right now. I think that's the first thing he's filming this year. His dance card's getting awful full. Yeah. What are you looking forward to this year, Jay?
Super excited about Superman. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's Karate Kid coming out.
Oh yeah, shit.
Um,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one too.
The Accountant 2. I loved the first one.
Oh, Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out too. I want to see that. I'm sorry. I am unabashed about that one.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know. There's so many. There's so many. It's like it's not like what movie are you excited about for 2025? It's like what movie every month are you excited about for 2025?
I think January, I was looking at my AMC app earlier today, and I think January is really the only month that I don't have anything that I'm like, yes. I was looking, but that doesn't surprise me. January is usually a dead month for movies because we're moving into Oscar season. The Oscars thing ended yesterday, like that's it. So now nobody releases. I mean, January, February is not when you release stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I would imagine that if they're filming Highlander right now, it'll come out in early 2026. To answer a chat question, will be Cavill's Highlander.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Hopefully they don't make the Highlander 2 mistake again.
What was that?
When they turned out they were aliens.
Oh.
And then they kind of, in Highlander 3, they were like, never mind. We'll just forget Highlander 2 happened. We'll just ignore that. Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much something every month. When does that Ke Huy Quan movie come out with Marshawn Lynch?
January 7th. Or sorry, February 7th. Love Hurts.
Love Hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's on one of my most anticipated, especially with Marshawn in there. Like, I love Marshawn Lynch just as like a thing. Go listen to his podcast too. He also is a part owner of the Kraken here in Seattle.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, no, like he's talked about it a few times where he's like, look, he's like, I don't know what happened. I didn't expect it when I came here, but Seattle loves him, and he loves this town. And so when the Kraken owner, when they approached him, they were like, hey, do you want partial ownership? Would you like to have a stake in the Kraken? He apparently, I'm kind of messing up his quote, but he was like, he said he was at dinner with him and he was like, you say in Seattle and sports ownership, say less. Like, no problem. Done. Right? Like, he's like, I don't know anything about hockey. I don't care. Let's just do it. Right? Because he likes the town. You know?
Yeah.
He loves this city. He still maintains connections, even though he's not from here, but he still maintains heavy connections here in the Seattle area. I love the guy. I think he's a Seattle superstar. And so seeing him in that trailer with Ke Huy Quan, like, just killed me. And so I really want to see this movie now. So, yeah, I mean, it's looking like a good year. I think January is the only month. Do you see anything in January?
Not really. Yeah. January's a little slow.
Yeah. Apparently somebody's releasing a story about Alan Pinkerton, the founder of the Pinkerton Detective Agency. Yeah, nothing. I got nothing in January. I got nothing. We actually haven't had a chance to talk about this. Let us know what you're looking forward to in 2025. We haven't had a chance to talk about this, but the Superman trailer, because it released the day after that we filmed the last podcast, and I was irritated because they did the like teaser to the teaser the day we filmed the podcast last when I had my guest in, and I was like, you sons of bitches couldn't release it today so I could talk about it? Like, come on. You're killing me here. I have a pop culture fucking podcast and I can't see Superman first. What did you think?
Oh my God. So I was in Cancun.
Yeah.
Drunk with a coconut. Wait, that sounded bad. I was drinking out of a coconut. I was drunk. That's not related to the story. Like my phone was like ding, 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 ding. And I was like, what? Superman trailer. I'm like, oh shit. Watched it. literally like ran and was like, went over to my brother and was like, "You have to watch this." He's like, "Okay, like I'll watch it later." I'm like, "No, no, you're gonna watch it right now." I was like, so like made him watch it, and so let me like back up a little bit. Growing up, I so Christopher Reeves, like the movie, when I was a little kid, I loved because I was a little kid. Then when I got like above the age of like, I don't know, 8, I hated Superman. 100% hated Superman because he was just unrelatable. He was a godlike figure that
Hmm.
could like do no wrong and was like a Boy Scout, and I hated that. Like I loved Batman. I loved characters that you could kind of like see their struggle, connect with them a little bit.
Hmm.
Um, I love the trailer because it just starts off with him bleeding, and I'm like, yes, like let's see him bleed a little bit. And I also liked the recent Superman movies with Henry Cavill. I think Henry Cavill kind of did a great job portraying like his kind of like struggle, kind of with trying to be good and stuff. I liked that.
I think that
Uh,
Henry was a good Superman.
yeah,
I think he
Henry's a
was in bad Superman movies.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, I love the trailer. I will say the only thing I am cautious about is I'm a little worried that they're trying to do too much in one movie
I was
because
That's my
yeah,
only worry too. Is I'm like James, you are putting a lot into this
you
movie.
have what like the Green Lantern, you
Yep,
have Lex Luthor, you have
Hot Girl,
yes. Um there's so much in this movie.
Supergirl's in there. But by the way, Supergirl actually starts filming shortly,
Oh
right?
wow. Okay.
And they had to because it's starting to film, so they made their big Jason Momoa announcement earlier this week that he's
I missed
coming.
that.
Yeah, he's coming in to play Lobo,
Oh.
and he's thrilled. Like he's always wanted to play Lobo, and now he gets to play Lobo, and he's going to be Lobo in Supergirl World of Woman of Tomorrow. Um, so that starts filming like any day now. But she is going to show up. Yep, Mr. Terrific is in the trailer. Ultraman is in the trailer.
That's a lot. That's so much.
Crypto the dog is in the trailer. I
Yeah.
I want that dog. I don't know what breed it is. I gotta find out because that dog is adorable.
Oh god.
Right. I'm so glad they put Crypto the super dog into the movie. Um, Here's what I'm gonna say. After the Guardians trilogy and Peacemaker, I'm gonna give James some rope. I agree with you. He is stuffing a lot into this movie. But I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt from me. The Guardians trilogy, especially when you look at it as a whole trilogy, was just so good. He took D-list Marvel characters. And let's face it, before the movies, the Guardians of the Galaxy are D-list. Like, so obscure that nobody had heard of them. Right?
Yeah.
If you're not a comic book nerd, you did not know who Rocket Raccoon was.
That's true. That's a very good point.
Okay? And he turned them into a major franchise of recognizable, adored characters. Look what he did with Groot.
Yeah.
He made a character that says 3 words, like a key figure in that world.
And also something that Vin Diesel could pull off with his acting,
Style. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. Um, so again, I will give James Gunn the benefit of the doubt. Right? I agree with you. My biggest fear is I'm just like, dude, this is a lot.
The only like I do have hope, and I'm kind of like hoping that all of these like characters that they showed, they're just going to like pass through real quick, like kind of like an opening scene, like, oh, you guys have a giant monster destroying a skyscraper.
And we did
Hi.
see a giant kaiju.
Yeah, and then they leave, and it's kind of like a teaser for more to come in different movies. And I would be like, okay, wow, yeah, that's cool. But I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I'm super excited about it. It looks really good. So
The only thing because I know he's talked about this. This is not a Superman origin story.
thank God.
Okay. Once again, we are figuring it out. We don't need to see Uncle Ben die in Spider-Man. We know that Bruce's parents got killed in Batman. Like, we get it. Thank you.
Where does Superman come from? He's an illegal alien. Is that correct?
We fucking know. Okay. So I think what they're establishing here is a Superman early career, but in a world already inhabited by superheroes.
Yeah.
So my guess is actually close to yours. Is that there's going to be a point early in the film where, like, they got to fight that big kaiju thing you see in the trailer. And it's all of them, right? Fighting together, right? And we're establishing that this is not Superman's the sole superpowered guy, right?
Yeah.
No. There's like 5 in Metropolis alone, right? Like, there's a bunch. This is not new to the world that we are entering in the new DCEU or DCU, right? So I think I agree with you. I think it's going to be in and out fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
No.
So if you haven't, that's Rachel Brosnahan. That was the show she did on Prime for years. She's playing Lois Lane. Go watch Mrs. Maisel, and you will understand why I think she is the perfect casting for Lois Lane. So in Mrs. Maisel, she plays a Jewish housewife in the 60s who becomes a stand-up comic.
Interesting.
Right? And she's got that madcap energy that you're like, yes, I can see you as a madcap reporter who's chasing down the story. Like, go watch it. It's great. It's a great show. And she's playing Lois. I think it's casting it right. I just want to know who the fuck's going to play Batman. We still don't have our Batman announcement, and I'm getting irritated.
I mean,
no, I'm irritated.
It has to be Sparkle Boy, right? Which I will say I was very against.
Confirmed he is not the DCU Batman.
Oh, he's not? Like, it's confirmed he's... Oh, wow.
So did you hear, like, when Gunn did his big first presentation after he took over, did you catch that presentation?
No, I did not.
All right, so for our audience, right, and for you, so when they first announced Gunn and Safran as the head of DC Studios, which was one of the first big moves that David Zaslav made when he took over Warner Brothers, was he goes, DC's getting its own studio, because everything that was made with Zack Snyder and those guys was done under the Warner Brothers banner, right? Whereas at Disney, Marvel is its own studio. Lucasfilm is its own studio. Like, they do things internally. DC, they had never done that. So Zaslav came in there and he goes, no. He goes, if you're going to have DC properties and we're going to own DC, do it right. He establishes DC Studios and he goes, okay, James Gunn, Peter Safran, you guys go run DC, right? That's your job. Gunn came out and he goes, look, he goes, we want to create a mainline universe like you guys are expecting, but we also want to be able to tell one-off stories that don't have to tie in so that people can have that creative license. So the Batman with Pattinson is what they call an Elseworlds. They're literally using the same line as the comic books. So the Batman and Penguin and those are an Elseworlds title, right? It's DC Elseworlds. It is not part of the mainline DC universe. It is its own, it's Earth 1425, right? So there's the mainline DCU, which is what Superman is going to be in. It's the, I guess now the third, because Creature Commandos is in the DCU, right? That new show that's on Max. Peacemaker, I guess, is officially in the DCU now. He like retconned that one in. He was like, yeah, fine. So Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, and Superman are the first 3 properties. They've announced what Batman story they're doing, for the first Batman movie, which again is not an origin story, and I don't know how they're going to do it. But it's Batman Brave and the Bold. It's Damian. So this is Batman on Robin number 4.
Oh, shit.
So this is not a young Batman. Like the first phase of the DCU is called Gods and Monsters. But the first Batman movie is supposed to be based on Brave and the Bold. So I'm guessing a Batman in his mid to late 30s? Or Bruce should be.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I don't know. Interesting.
It's based on the comic. Yeah, it's not a young Batman.
Yeah.
So during that series, yeah, Damian is the primary Robin during that run.
And Damian is Bruce Wayne's son, right?
Yeah,
And
with Talia al Ghul. And chat's corrected me. Apparently he's Robin number 5. Right. Yeah. So, like, by the time Damian comes in, if they hold even close to it, like, Dick is already Nightwing. Jason Todd is dead. Right? Dead. Before he becomes Red Hood.
Yeah.
Like, this is not early days Batman. Right? And again, my understanding of Superman is, again, we're coming into a world that already has superheroes. Right? So, I just want to know who the hell they're going to cast as Batman. Because I think that's going to be critical for this new mainline DCU. It's just like casting Captain America and Iron Man, right? There was nobody else to cast for Iron Man but Robert Downey Jr. There just wasn't, right? I know there was rumors they were looking at Tom Cruise, but I mean, looking back at the 15 years of the MCU, 18 years of the MCU, can you think of anybody better?
No.
To play that role? Can you think of anybody better to play Captain America than Chris Evans?
No. And same with Hugh Jackman and Wolverine.
Yep.
Although, I mean, they did kind of show Henry Cavill, and I was like, damn.
The Cavill reign.
Damn.
Again, can you think of anybody better? You know? That's why I think casting the right Batman is going to make or break your franchise. Because look, you got the big 4: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash. That's the core of your Justice League, right? If you're building a big mainline DCU, which is what you're trying to do, if you're Warner Brothers, you have to have those 4 characters right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know enough about David Corenswet. I'll say this. Actually, this is bring us back to the Superman trailer. The thing that I noted, 2 things. One, when he's Clark and he's Superman, he actually looks fucking different. Right? Like the way he does his hair, like everything about him. Like, I legit could be like, yeah, you can't see Superman in that face. There's also this moment, and it's a blink and you miss it moment in the trailer that I loved, was he turns back, Clark turns back from his computer with this like, kind of like bumfuzzled look on his face. Right? Where he's like, huh? What's going on, guys? Right? Like, and Corenswet in that moment just sells it. Right? And again, I thought he looked different than he does when he's Superman.
The only thing I can think of is the college humor skit of Batman and Superman teaming up, and Batman giving Clark Kent shit about his disguise. I'm not sure. Has anyone seen that? Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring this up real quick, right, for the audience, so they can.
For the audience.
Right, like this moment right here, like right there. I don't see Superman. Right? Look at the hair. He's gangly, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And hang on, this is the kind of the blink and you miss it moment's going to come here in a second. I like that they put the John Williams theme in there from the original Superman. There's our Lois Lane. And you see how he's hunched? That there, right there. You see how he looks kind of bumfuzzled? Like, watch his facial expression. Huh? What? You know, he doesn't look like Superman when he's Clark. This is honestly my favorite part. Because you could see the cloud, like the giant like plume coming with Krypto running. I'm a dog. Hi. Yeah, I mean this is Nicholas Hoult looks good as Lex Luthor. I think he looks fine. I'll see how he does. There's some cool Easter eggs in here for like the deep cut comic book fans about like what's going on in some of these scenes. Somebody in the chat mentioned Nathan Fillion's hair. Yes. There's been a lot of complaints about that. That is the comic accurate Guy Gardner haircut. That is what his hair looks like in the comic books.
And I thought it was so funny. I saw a meme literally calling that out. And it was like comic book fans complaining about movies not being comic accurate, and then movies making comic accurate scenes, and then comic book fans complaining. And I was like, oh, shit.
We get a flash of his Green Lantern ring, too. Boop. There's our big kaiju. I think that's later. Calyx, there we go. Some Fortress of Solitude, Metamorpho, more Lex Luthor. There's Krypto dragging him off.
So cute.
Yeah, again, I think it works. I'm hopeful. All right, chat's got some potential Batmans for us. Tom Ellis, Lucifer.
I don't know if I'd see that.
I think he's too small.
Yeah.
He'd have to bulk up. Jensen Ackles. So for somebody who said Thomas Ellis is too British, so is the guy who played it in the Nolanverse. Christian Bale is too British, but they can do an American accent. Jensen Ackles, I don't think he can carry a movie. I just don't think he can. John Hamm is too old. If I'm thinking of who it is. Yeah, he's too old. He's 53. He's way too old to start playing Batman. You need a Batman. I would guess they need a Batman who's roughly 35, right? Because you got to remember, the way he's thinking about it, he's thinking about it like, again, RDJ was Iron Man from 2008 till Endgame in 2019, right? You need a decade to build out your franchise, right? You have to have it. David Cornsweet's 31. He can play Superman for the next 15 years, right? And he's fine. Jensen Ackles might be a little too old. Richard Armitage is for sure too old. Yeah, he's 53. He's too old. Jay Weiler. Oh, Jay. Yeah, there you go. Scott Eastwood.
Oh god.
I actually have not seen him in much. He's 38. He's probably on the upper edge age-wise.
I don't know. I could kind of see that. I think
How big is he?
I think he's been big in some movies. Um,
Maybe.
he's kind of ripped in some things. And then he's 5'11". I don't know. Jay Wheeler is like 6'2", by the way.
I, I'll be honest. I don't know who, again, but this is why I want to know. I want to know who you're going to get to anchor. You can wait on Wonder Woman. You really can. You can. You can wait a little while. I don't need that casting tomorrow.
I mean, that kind of has to be like Gal Gadot as well, right? Like,
again,
real.
It's got to be somebody like her. I don't think. I mean, he's not going to bring back Gal Gadot. She's also pushing it on age. You know, I don't know. I don't know who they're going to get. But if they stick to the Brave and Bold, this is a Batman who's been Batman for a while, at least a decade, right? This is not a young Batman. This is not an inexperienced Batman. This is the Batman that already has the plans to kill everyone in the Justice League.
Yeah. Changing gears, I kind of want a Batman Beyond movie.
I do too. I would rather them do it like they did Into the Spider-Verse. Give me an animated trilogy.
Yeah. I don't know.
With Michael Keaton doing the voice.
Ooh, that would be good, yeah.
If you're going to do it live action, I want Michael Keaton to be old man Batman.
That would work.
If you're going to do it as an Elseworlds project. Make Michael Keaton old man Batman.
Yeah.
Okay. Sadly, Kevin Conroy, who will always be my Batman. Okay.
Who is that?
He's the one who did the Batman the Animated Series voice.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I did, yeah.
Kevin Conroy is my Batman forever. Okay. I love and he's one of the only ones that I thought both did Bruce and Batman well. Where when he was acting like Bruce, I felt like he was Bruce. He was a playboy billionaire. When he was Batman, I felt he was that menacing Batman. And happily, he got to finally play Bruce in live action on the CW. So good for him before he died. I would love... But yeah, if you're going to do Batman Beyond, get old man Michael Keaton.
Which
do it.
Yeah. I grew up with the animated series. I loved it. The Michael Keaton Batman movies, they did something to me. I mean, I have actually have a autographed picture of Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman. I
liked the Val Kilmer one.
I don't know.
I still like Batman Forever because it came out when I was like 12.
Yeah.
And I was the target demo for Batman Forever.
Yeah.
1995. Yes, I was 12. Right? And so Jim Carrey, right? Val Kilmer. Yes, I was the target demo.
I mean, when I was a kid, I definitely liked it as well. I mean, I liked every Batman movie, to be completely honest. Even though, like, going back, you watch them and you're like, damn, that was cheesy.
I still didn't like... I didn't like the Clooney one as much. Even at that time. I still didn't like it. I was surprised they got Clooney back. The biggest surprise to me was when I saw Clooney get out of that car at the end of The Flash. I went,
Yeah.
holy crap, what did you do? Because he talked about it for years after it. He's like, I killed Batman. He's like, I destroyed that franchise for almost a decade.
Yeah.
He did.
What, remind me, was it Val Kilmer or George Clooney where we first got the nipples?
It was Clooney.
Clooney, okay.
So they went 2 at the Keaton, then Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin with Clooney. And ostensibly, they're all in the same universe. It's just recast, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he was like, I killed Batman for a decade, and he's not wrong. But they got him back, which I thought was nice.
No.
Now that would be the biggest fucking hilarious thing for him to do. He won't, right? Because we were just talking about age, right? But if you're trying to do like an older Batman, Clooney's 63. He could be your Batman in Batman Beyond.
He could, yeah.
He could totally do him or Keaton. That's who I want for Batman Beyond. Let's do it. After Conroy, Keaton's my favorite. I can understand Keaton being, again, Keaton was a good Batman. He couldn't turn his neck.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I mean, a lot of them couldn't.
Yeah, I don't know who you get for Batman for the new DCU, but I want to know. I think they've already got it cast. I just think they haven't announced it yet.
Yeah.
I said Supergirl goes into production any day now. And I'm guessing, again, since Jason Momoa was Lobo, he's going to be the bad guy. Which makes sense. Lobo likes to fight Superman.
Yeah.
So, good job, Jason Momoa. You get to stick around. Who's playing Supergirl? Oh, the girl from House of the Dragon. What's her name? Millie Alcock.
Oh, crap.
Woman of Tomorrow. Yeah, Millie Alcock, who played the young Rhaenyra in House of the Dragon Season 1, is Supergirl. She is Kara Zor-El.
I don't know if I can see that. I don't know.
I haven't seen her recently. Here's the best. So this is the picture. I'll bring it up for the chat. This is the one where I'm like, okay. Yeah, I can see it. Sure. Makeup, put her in a Supergirl suit.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
she's got acting chops. Here's what we know. We know from season 1 of House of the Dragon, she knows how to hold a scene, right?
True.
She knows how to really like hold some shit together with some top tier actors. Look at the work she did with Patty Considine in House of the Dragon season 1. Patty is one of the best actors out there. So I'm willing to, again, I'll give James the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, that movie comes out. They're starting production any day now. They were just talking about it the other day. So, right after they were talking about, again, Jason Momoa coming back to play Lobo, which, for our audience, I will bring up a picture of Lobo for you. Oh, that's a pretty good one. There you go. So that's Lobo. He has a dog named Dog. But yes, can I see Jason Momoa? Yeah. You know, and he wants to play the role. Like he has spoken at length about wanting to play Lobo.
Nice.
So, you know, I'm all about it. All right. Last little quick topics for tonight. Let's skip the Assassin's Creed one. Oh, yeah, do we think they're going to end daylight savings time? I hope not. I really, really don't want them to. I really don't. It's
Why?
so, and actually Nate Silver did a good write-up on this a few days ago. So we are not in daylight savings time right now. We are in standard time right now, right? Which means in the winter you continue to get this time period, right, where it gets dark at 4 p.m., 4:30, right? If they end daylight savings time, do you know what time sunrise will be in June in Washington State?
8.
4:30 a.m.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Let's do that.
No, I'm not awake at that time. I like my long summer nights in Washington. One of the things I love about Washington State is in the summer, I could sit on my back patio until 10 p.m. Like 9:30, 10, and it's still light out, right? That's one of the best things about living up here, right? So really, if you're going to get rid of it, get rid of standard time. Do permanent daylight savings time.
Interesting.
Right? The reason we don't do it, the reason it didn't work last time, because they tried to do it before and everybody was pissed about it. Okay, they did it back in the 70s, is in the summer, it gets light at 4 a.m. in the north. And it gets dark at 8. And so you're not getting really additional daylight. And so because we have businesses now, and again, somebody brought that up too, where it's like, it's a man-made thing. Yeah, so is business hours, right? It doesn't change business hours. It doesn't change anything. It just means that you have 2 hours of daylight before you wake up, right? That's what getting rid of daylight savings time means. To me, it's 2 hours of useless daytime that we don't get to enjoy.
Right.
You know, so again, if you're going to make permanent daylight savings time, yes, I'm on board. Because then at least in Washington, it would get dark at 5:30. Right? Don't tell me y'all like this 4:30 in the afternoon darkness shit. Because I know you're lying.
You know, I guarantee you they don't have that issue in Mississippi.
It's not as bad in the South.
Yeah.
Again, the North and specifically the Pacific Northwest, we take the brunt of the major hit based on where we are from a longitudinal standpoint. Right? A latitude, sorry. And, you know, that's just what happens.
This is like something that when I moved out here, I was like, holy shit. Like, it's so crazy out here because like how either early the sunrise will rise or like how late, how early the sun will set. And I'm like, I mentioned it at work, I think my first year that I moved out here, and people were like, isn't that the same in Florida? And I'm like, no, I never really honestly noticed a difference that much.
It's huge. It's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Massive difference. And that's why, again, I don't do it. Now, do I think they're going to do it? I have no... Let's do this. It's silly season. Silly season starts in 19 days. What do you think's going to happen this year? What's on your 2025 bingo card, Jay?
They're going to fucking do it. Just to fucking do it. I don't know.
So Jay's calling. I'm going to write some of these down. So Jay, you think that they are going to end daylight savings?
Yep.
So we'll do this at the end of the year. We'll come back and look, and see how close we are. What else is on your 2025 bingo card?
I think Elon Musk is going to do some shit with crypto.
You mean some more shit with crypto?
More shit with crypto. Yes.
Okay.
Since he's going to be in a position of power.
So here's my thing. I think him and Donald have a falling out before July.
Oh.
This is Alex. I'm gonna write this down, right? Elon and DJT have a falling out by July.
Interesting.
So like 12 Scaramucci's. You know. Elon's going to overstep. You can't have two narcissists like that in the same orbit, right? And once he moves into the White House and Doge really starts going, right? Like, he's going to do something. Like, you missed it because you were out of the country, but they had the big, like, budget standoff right before Christmas, right? I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, I did. I saw it, yeah.
Right. Then they had the giant H-1B visa fight over Christmas, which was great to watch. I think Elon pisses him off by July. I think the bromance is over. And Trump doesn't have any problem throwing fools under the bus.
Oh yeah, no.
Right.
No problem.
What else you got on your 2025 bingo card?
Let's see here. Just like anything?
Yeah.
Could be anything.
Movies, TV shows.
I think they're going to announce a new Underworld movie because that is my guilty pleasure. I love Kate Beckinsale and rubber latex.
God, how old is Kate Beckinsale? There'll be a recasting.
No. She's old. She's older.
She's 51.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go up to Jay now. Yep, we got Jay. Okay, so Underworld reboot.
Yeah, I actually think that would be amazing. An Underworld reboot, I think actually would be great.
No, to answer the chat's question, Elon, unless they change the constitution, Elon can't run for president because he was born in South Africa.
Yep.
He is not an American. He's not a natural born American citizen. He's a naturalized American citizen. So there would have to be a thing. I think that SCOTUS is going to kick the TikTok ban down the road. I don't think they're going to rule one way or another. I think what they're going to do, and I think that the Trump administration, they filed their amicus brief about the TikTok ban, and their entire amicus brief literally just said, don't rule on this now. Right? We don't want you to rule on this now. Give us 6 months. You need to give us some time to get into office and see if we can negotiate a deal with ByteDance before we ban TikTok. Right? And so I think that SCOTUS is going to say, we can't rule on this on the merits. So we're going to let the new administration, we're going to put a stay on it for 6-9 months until the new administration either figures out what they want to do or repeals the legislation that banned it in the first place. So that's what I think is going to happen with TikTok. I cannot at this stage imagine them following through on it. I just can't. There's too many headwinds on this one.
I think Trump's already stated that he likes TikTok. That
he goes back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, recently he has. And again, his incoming administration last week filed an amicus brief with the Supreme Court on the hearing that they're having next week saying, hold up, don't rule, put a stay on it. We're going to deal with this when we get into office after January 20th. So, so I don't think they're going to ban TikTok. I think TikTok will be here for all of 2025. Right? As to what happens after that, I won't say, but I think TikTok will be here for all of 2025. Okay, so Jay's got 3, I've got 2. You got anything else on your bingo card?
Oh God, I don't know. I'm trying to think of things that are not obvious, like P. Diddy getting convicted. Like that's almost like a sure thing.
Oh yeah.
Point. Oh God, I don't know.
I think this is wishful thinking. But I'm gonna hope. So we're gonna come back at the end of the year. I think one more Star Wars movie will go into production this year. It will start this year. Another Star Wars film will begin filming in 2025. I don't know what it's going to be of the random shit they've announced that they haven't canceled yet. I also think Blade, the Marvel Blade film, will officially be canceled this year. I'm upset about it too, but they can't get this one off the fucking run. Damn. What do you got? Oh, you wrote something in there. Go ahead.
I don't know. Mine's a little dark. Mine's a little grim.
Okay, we'll come back to something fun after grim.
And you're the military guy.
Uh-huh.
I think we're gonna see like a Cold War, which some argue we're already in a Cold War, or a full-on breakout of World War III this year. And that is just from me seeing a lot more war break out over in like the Middle East. So you have like China and Taiwan, you have India and Pakistan. That's not really a war. They've always had a skirmish. You have Russia.
So the question that I got to ask is, are we involved in your bingo card?
I don't think we'll be involved in 2025 because it seems like we're always last to join.
Well, and especially with this administration. Yeah. I think they're paper tigers. I generally agree with you. I think you're going to see what is going to be the start of the next major total war conflict, whether we call it World War III or not. That's a whole other ball of kittens. I think you're going to see the next total war conflict start in 2025. I don't think we'll get involved in 2025 unless someone drags us into it kicking and screaming. Because I think this administration's a bunch of paper tigers.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. I'll be honest. I don't think this is something occur. I don't think this government gets much done this year. I don't think they get anything done. I think we get pretty much to the midterms with them accomplishing basically nothing of real substance. They can't figure out who their speaker is going to be. I'm not sure they're going to be able to certify the election on time because they can't figure out who their speaker is going to be. They're supposed to vote on Friday. And I don't think Mike Johnson's got the votes right now. As it stands, we're not going to have a speaker come Friday. There's a long time between now and Friday, and if they don't have a speaker by Monday, which is when the certification is supposed to happen, I don't know what happens. I don't know how they certify the vote without a speaker. And I don't think they're going to have a speaker on Friday. As it stands. Yeah. Again, I think we'll get another Star Wars film in production. Oh, and we will get a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer this year. We will get a trailer this year for Mandalorian and Grogu. They will release it by September, October. Yeah. Yeah, we're halfway through the decade. It's been a weird decade. I, like many elder millennials, would like to stop living through once-in-a-lifetime events. Just for a little while. I would like 10 years of quiet.
Oh, God, you are getting old, aren't you?
Like, the funny thing is people talk about this. Like, New Year's used to be one of my favorite holidays. And I used to go out a lot. I used to love New Year's. Because it was always a fresh start. It's like, okay, yeah, stuff. The 90s was quiet. Right? like 92 until 2000, like I don't think people remember how much optimism we had going into the year 2000. Once we knew Y2K wasn't going to end the planet, right? I am a millennial. I am an elder millennial. But I am a millennial, or an exennial, as some call it, right? I am right on that line between Gen X and millennial is the age that I am. I am 41. I know one of these people in our chat right now, and he's like, well, in the United States, it's never quite. Yeah, you're quite a bit younger. It used to be, like, legit, like, I think people forget how, like, I'll be honest, boring the 90s were. Right? Like, the 90s were boring. It was great for entertainment, great for other stuff. We had great television, we had good movies. But man, Gen Y is another term for millennial. They didn't do the thing. Yeah, the 90s were boring. They were really boring. Nothing happened for like 9 years. Okay. We had one small skirmish in the Middle East. We had one small skirmish in Bosnia that was over in like 6 months. The war in the Middle East was over in 4 days. Literally, the Gulf War I in 91 lasted 4 days. Done. Like, it was just over. Like, okay, we're done now. Thanks. It was so quiet. There was no more Soviet Union. Right? Our president was an aw shucks, like, saxophone playing guy from Arkansas, right? And the Monica stuff didn't really blow up until like 97 and 98, and most people just laughed about that shit. They thought it was funny. The president got a blowy in the Oval. Woo! Which in the grand scheme of scandals nowadays is pretty minor. We all want to go back to the day when the president was getting a blowy in the Oval. Okay.
Oh God. That's something I can't really understand. Like, yes, back then it's like, holy shit, you got a blowjob in the office. And that it would like, that's like a typical day, I feel like now.
Yeah,
like, that's like, so I don't know.
Yeah. Dog Dad, go back and look at that again. Again, I'm looking at the demographer stuff. They changed Gen Y to millennials like later when they were rebranding, basically. It's the same demographic group. And again, you'll see some variance as to what year it starts. It's between 80 and 82. Yeah. They have erased Gen Y. Like, the demographers have officially, they change. The demographers change that stuff periodically. They adjust it, right? So originally millennials, like, they started it in like 84, 85, and they've basically adjusted it back about 2 or 3 years. Again, there's some, depending on which demographer you're looking at, there's some discussion as to whether it's 80, 81, 82, or 83. Most of the guys I see now say 81. It's basically everybody who came of age right around the year 2000. And like the next 10 years. So basically if you turned 18 to 2000 for the next like 7-8 years, you're a millennial. I think Jay's a younger millennial. Are you smack in the middle of it? I think you're smack in the middle.
What is the years? Hang on, let me see.
We're getting off track here, folks.
All right, so 81 to 96 is what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I think they've changed it a little bit, but yeah. Exact range can vary by a year or two. So, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm like right in the middle.
Yeah.
Almost.
So you're like smacking the millennial run. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My parents are boomers. Like fully boomers.
Is that where you get it from?
No.
Okay, outside.
You know, I have friends though who like will argue with me who are like elder millennials who are like, nah, I'm Gen X. I'm like, they ended Gen X. Again, you'll see some variance in there, but yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any more predictions for 2025. Chat, do you have any fun predictions? We saw all your depressing predictions for 2025. You guys got any fun ones? I said I think we'll get a trailer for Mandalorian Grogu, and I think we will get a trailer for another Star Wars movie this year. All right, an announcement of that one's gone into production. Oh, another thing I'm looking forward to this year is the new Daredevil show. Because that's this year.
Are they recasting?
No, it's Charlie Cox, baby. Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, shit.
They're bringing back Punisher. They're bringing...
Oh, yes.
It releases in March. Oh, yeah.
Everything's going to be fine with the world. Nothing bad's going to happen because that's happening. We're fine. Everything's okay.
No. If you were born in 78, you were fully Gen X. Yes, you are fully Gen X. I blame Gen X for this election. And if you look at the vote counts, it's Gen X's fault. They were the generation that had the largest rightward shift of every demo in this election was Gen X. Gen X went hard right in this election. It was like market.
I don't know. I'm not pointing fingers.
Everybody shifted more conservative.
We're gonna lose our one Gen X listener.
No, I'm telling you. Gen X moved really far to the right on this one. Yeah, there was a bunch on this one.
I'm like curious on also like regen. Like, is it just Gen X in the South? Because I 100% get that. Like I left the South.
I haven't looked at the crosstabs. I have not looked at the crosstabs as to regionally where Gen X moved more right. But Gen X, again, has been majority Dem for the longest time, and they are no longer majority Democrat. They are a majority Republican demographic now.
It's just because, like, and I'm sorry, like, I'm not like Dog Dad 78. This isn't for you, but like, it's just because they just struggle so much with fake news. I feel like.
Some of them, yeah. Age demographic. There it is. I just want age. I don't want both. Another Skyrim release. I'm sure. Again, the video game release schedules for this year are all wonked up because of GTA 6. Yeah. I know to chat. I know why so many young men went right. Some of my frustration since the election, we haven't done a lot of this. We did a little bit because Jay was out of town at the election and then went out of town again right as stuff started blowing up in December. So
I'm just going to leave. If shit hits the fan, everyone, you guys realize that, right? I'm just leaving.
He's just out. Here's it's, to me, why young men went right so hard, like that far, is the least surprising thing to me about the demo. Like, nothing to that. Yeah, the Trump threatening to annex Canada and buy Greenland. Honestly, the United Kingdom's gonna have something to say about that. They're still technically under the monarchy. King Charles is going to have something to say about it. Him and Kevin O'Leary and Elon can yap about the 51st state. I'll tell you right now, they don't want that. Right? That's another That's a very left-leaning state, comparatively speaking. King Charles didn't die. Oh, he dies? He's pretty old. Wouldn't shock me. He didn't take he didn't take the throne until he was very old. You gotta remember, his mother was very young when she took the throne, and she lived a long fucking time. Yeah, he's 76. Like, if they yelled out that King Charles died tomorrow, I'd be like, all right, fucking 76-year-old man. Basically, once you break 75, I'm not surprised if you die.
Yeah.
Like, shit just happens at that point. Like,
Jimmy Carter lived till
100. Yeah, and again,
talk to me.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter lived to 100. 51st state is a budget, and there's more reasons than that. There's a reason we haven't admitted a state to the union in 75 years. Like, it's just a nightmare in general. If you're going to do that, we already have plenty of territories that should be states, right? Puerto Rico should be a state. Guam should be a state. American Samoa probably should be a state. You could probably just lump all those together as the United States of Pacifica and call it a day with all of the islands. But yes. Now, ironically, Guam has voted multiple times to not become a state. The people who live there are like, nope.
Well,
nope.
Hawaii didn't want to become a state.
They did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guam doesn't want to be a state. They like being a territory. They have voted multiple times to stay a territory. Right? And they're far enough from the mainland where the politics here don't really affect them. They just don't care. And it's a tropical island. And it's like, everything's expensive, but you live on a tropical island, so... Puerto Rico should be its own state in and of itself. Puerto Rico is voted to become a state. Our Congress is the problem there. Puerto Rico should be a state. Yeah, probably. Trying to think if we have any other 2025 predictions. I don't really. I think Daredevil's going to be good.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited for that show.
Yeah, I
John Bernthal back as Punisher.
Yeah,
and they've made it official. Feige has confirmed the Netflix Daredevil is canon to the MCU. It is the same Daredevil that you see in Spider-Man, that you see in Echo, and that you see in She-Hulk. It's the same Daredevil. It is him. Right? So, I still love that line in Spider-Man. You remember when the brick comes to the window and he catches it in front of Spider-Man? And he's like, how did you do that? I'm a very good lawyer. Trump Daisy Big Mac. Again, much like King Charles, if he makes it through this term, I won't be surprised because he's got the best medical care in the world because he's the president. If he died of a heart attack, wouldn't shock me. He's, what, 79? 78.
He's on the Cheeto diet so much that his skin is like orange. So like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's 78 years old.
Yeah.
So, and again, once you're past the age of 75, if somebody's like, hey, that guy died, and they're like, he was 79, I'm like, that happens. Because you're old. Maybe it's carrots. Magic prediction. The Final Fantasy Universes Beyond isn't going to do well. Jay, what do you think? I'm gonna let you take that one first.
I don't know. You know what? I'll agree with that. I don't think it's gonna go well. Yeah, I back that.
I just don't know. Unfortunately, I don't think any of the Universes Beyond sets have done poorly. Right? I think some of them are better than others. I don't think any of them has done as well as Lord of the Rings did. To my recollection. but Fallout was fine. 40K did well. As far as Final Fantasy, it's tough to say. I want to see what the set looks like before I make that call. I could definitely see it not doing as well as other sets, but let me see the set first. Let me see what cards are in it. Let me see who the commanders are.
I can tell you right now, I'm boycotting it, and I will not buy it.
Oh, but why? You don't want Cloud Strife as a commander?
I'm gonna buy it. I'm just kidding. That was sarcasm.
You know you want Sephiroth as a black-blue commander.
Yeah, I don't. I'm interested to see. I'm just getting tired of the constant releases, to be completely honest.
They've slowed it down this year. They did slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And they don't have much in this next year.
So I don't know. I don't know, but I do kind of feel like a lot of people are getting kind of upset with like
The weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Aether Drift is our first one out the gate, I believe, this year. Yep, February 14th. That's our first major release. So pre-release will be February 7th. It looks like a fun set. It looks like it's vehicle heavy. It is very much this is a Magic set, not Universes Beyond. So I think that'll be a lot of fun. All right, guys, we've been on for 2 hours and 34 minutes. I think we've made up for our missing the show last week. But we'll be back next week, and Jay's not leaving the country for a while.
Unless something happens. I mean, that's the great thing about the Pacific Northwest is that you can very quickly jump over to Canada. So I don't know.
I don't know. My wife keeps talking about Sweden.
Oh, Sweden's beautiful.
Because, easy transition work-wise. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. The live stream will be up live later, so if you missed the first part of the show where we were talking about some of those kind of darker first of the year topics, you can go back and check that out in a few minutes. The live stream will be up in just probably about 15 on the YouTube channel. Catch all the other stuff on YouTube. Catch us if you can't watch us. All of the podcaster stuff. Everybody say thank you to Jay. Jay has been kicking ass, getting us into all of the podcatcher places. Jay, would you like to say goodbye to the peoples?
Bye, everyone. Yeah, we'll see each other, or we'll see everyone next week.
Bye.
Bye.